You're already a speaker, you're already a lawyer, you already communicate every day. But if you want to elevate that skill, if you want to be intentional about how you connect, engage, and equip a jury, then it takes more than just knowing what good communication looks like. It takes practice. It takes skill building. It takes giving yourself the space to grow. And if you're willing to lean into that process, you'll find yourself communicating in a way that doesn't just get heard, it gets results. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Christy Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Christy Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. Glad to be here again this week and glad you're here with me. I hope that you're enjoying these weekly episodes. I'm enjoying making them, and I just hope I'm giving value. As always, I'd love to hear from you, so send me a DM or an email and drop in a star rating or a review. Just take a second to do that. Today, we're going to talk about the art of learning, and there is an art to it. But before we get into it, I just had to tell you something I did last week. If you've been with me for a while, you've heard me say that learning high stakes communication happens in low stakes situations, meaning the best time to practice the vocal strategies you need for better teaching in the courtroom, better exam in the courtroom, better storytelling in the courtroom, and better juror engagement in the courtroom is not in the courtroom. You develop the skills and the strategies in low stakes situations. You try expanding your range, testing out louder volume, testing out softer volume, dipping your toe in the waters of a higher voice, playing around with speed fluctuation. Do all of that outside of the courtroom. Do it while ordering at a coffee shop. Do it while reading bedtime stories to your kids. Do it when exchanging casual pleasantries with, I don't know, whoever you come across in the course of the day. Practice new vocal skills with people that don't know you, that don't have a prior knowledge of how you usually are. You need to test the waters and build some safety for yourself. Create new neural pathways and new muscle memory. So I decided to try some range expansion myself last week when I went to lunch with my lifelong mentor and friend, Dennis. We met up for our quarterly visit, and as we sat down, I told him, okay, so I'm just going to do something a little wonky. I'll explain it when I'm done. I mean, I didn't want to scare him. So a little fair warning was needed. But when the waitress came over and asked what we wanted to drink, I replied, "Oh, water is just fine for me." And then I ordered my linguine al gorgonzola, but instead of mushrooms, could I get broccolini added instead? Now, I did a video about this on my Instagram, and I'll put the link to that in the show notes in case you wanted to kind of check it out and see it in real time. But when she walked away, Dennis said, She had no idea. And she did not even care. And that was the whole point. I tried doing new vocal things in low stakes situations. And her not reacting to me was what will build the safety. So, building safety in order to level up your high stakes courtroom communication. Give it a try. You know what I hate? Being misunderstood. It's actually one of my biggest fears, if I'm honest, right up there with birds. Yes, I'm afraid of birds. Leave me alone about it already. Being misunderstood is just the worst, though. Trying to communicate something and seeing that it's just not landing the way you intend. A too harsh of tone with your kid or spouse that ended up setting them off. A thinking face that got interpreted as annoyance or irritation and ended up shutting down the conversation and leaving you baffled. It's so frustrating in our personal lives, but in the courtroom, your mismatched communication profile could break your case and lose you a deserving verdict. So, I've created a free guide to get you thinking about the emotional profiles you create. It's a printable guide to help you 10x your communication impact by mastering 6 emotional profiles for clear and authentic connection. I break down the 6 core emotions: happy, sad, love, pride, anger, and fear by giving you face, body, and breathing cues. Plus, I show you exactly which point on a 1 to 10 scale you should be with your pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone in order to authentically capture the center of that core emotion. The link to get your free guide is in the show notes or by simply going to my website, fostervoicestudio.com. Don't wait to clear up your part of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Get your free download today. Learning sucks. I mean, I am what I think of as a lifelong learner. I've always loved school, and honestly, I would love to just be a career college student. I'm the one that every time those course catalog books come from the local community college, I always work my way through it to see if there's any adult education course or course that I could audit. And I'm not narrowed down into just one thing, any one topic. I'm interested in art and finance and business, anatomy, behavioral science. And I like documentaries. I like attending lectures. I even like looking up things on Wikipedia. I mean, I just like acquiring knowledge. And I think that's part of why I love to work with trial attorneys. Every coaching session, I make my clients teach me new things, teach me anything that I would need to know in order to be equipped and successful if I were a juror on their trial. Knowledge acquisition is the fun part. That's the part I'm really good at. But learning itself, the process of knowledge assimilation, that kind of sucks. That's where you have to put in work. And, it just doesn't seem fair. It seems like I should be able to cognitively understand something and call it good, good to go. It's truly one of the greatest frustrations of my life that that's just not how it works. That's not how real learning works. And I get reminded of that every single time I run into something I think I should already be good at, but I'm not. Have you ever had to play those icebreaker group games where you go around and have to share some little known fact about yourself? We all hate those, right? Well, my little known fact is that I love road cycling, like the Tour de France. But I mean, it goes way beyond that. Yes, I do restructure the month of July so I can watch all the early morning coverage of the most magnificent cycling race in the world. But I also watch all the primetime coverage and I read the blogs and I listen to the podcasts and I follow the team social media pages. And Well, it's not even just about the tour. I follow all the spring classics, the monuments, and the other two grand tours every year for 20 years. I have several bike law clients that I coach that I'm the one giving them updates on who's winning what stages or crashing out or placing where on the leaderboards. I mean, I can talk about this topic. And hey, if you also love talking about road cycling, hit me up, bring it on. I'd love to have another buddy to discuss with. But regardless of how much I know about road racing and how much I love watching it and structure my life and manage my time around it, do I ride a bike myself? Nope. I don't even own a bike, let alone ride one. Knowledge about cycling is just not the same as being a cyclist. And it's the exact same thing with speaking in the courtroom. Knowing what makes a great communicator doesn't make you one. Just like studying cycling doesn't mean I can ride. To truly move from acquisition to assimilation, it takes the ability to build neural pathways and create muscle memory. Think of it like this: the brain creates grooves for each of the behaviors and repeated thoughts that have become habits. And when you learn new things, you start new little tracks. But the brain feels threatened. Its one job is to protect you and keep you alive. Any change away from the habits it already has, it sees it as a threat. That's when all those super fun thoughts creep in that tell you how inadequate you are, how you're never going to get it. You're not good enough, smart enough, strong enough for this new thing. And this resistance is even stronger when we're doing something new that feels like it should come naturally, when we're stepping just outside our comfort zone, but still in familiar territory. That's when frustration kicks in because we think we should already be good at it. I mean, the brain is really kind of a jerk about it, but it is trying to protect us. So we need to not begrudge it. We need to thank it and say, I appreciate you. I know you're trying to do right by me, but we're also going to try this new thing today, okay? Now, if you are a cycling enthusiast and you put, what is it with me in cycling today? But it's fresh on my mind because we're in the spring classic season. So if you are a cycling enthusiast and you put in long miles on the road with your cycling group every Saturday, but then you're invited to go mountain biking. Well, there's a lot of crossover to mountain biking, right? I mean, it's a bike and you know how to ride one confidently. You maybe have even won races in road cycling. And all of that is true, but you still have to adapt to new terrain and, in fact, a totally different style of bike. You're going to work new muscles and you're going to feel it the next day. That's exactly what happens when attorneys try to elevate their speaking in trial. You already know how to talk, just like a road cyclist already knows how to ride. But now you have to adapt to a new environment, new demands, and new skills that feel a little uncomfortable at first. Intentional, strategic vocal development for the courtroom is just like mountain biking. Kind of, but with far less concern about breaking every bone in your body. But what I mean is, you speak, and you have since you were a toddler. Speaking is not new to you. So you may think, hey, I know what I'm doing. This isn't something I need to work on. And in some settings, you're absolutely right. You're a road cyclist riding on the road. Awesome. Courtroom communication, though, connecting with jurors on a personal level that is just the right level of compelling without being creepy, equipping them with the case knowledge they need through teaching mastery, being an engaging storyteller and a different storyteller than when you're just hanging out with your buddies. Well, that's mountain biking. It's not better or worse than. We're not pitting them against each other. Mountain bikers would probably feel the same way about adapting to road cycling. We're simply recognizing that in order to elevate your courtroom communication, you're going to have to practice some new skills under the umbrella of something you already do exceptionally well. And to be honest, it can feel a little silly. I'm not sure why, but it is hardest to try bold new things, to be a little foolish when I'm by myself, when no one else is around. Why is that the time that I have to muster up the most amount of courage and bravery? I don't know. I guess we are our worst critics. It's hard to extend grace for ourselves and be patient with ourselves in the learning process while we're building those new neural pathways. It's a lot of repetition and imperfection. That's how you develop a skill. And it kind of sucks. I mean, it is fun, or it can be, but it sucks that you're not perfect right away. Acquisition just isn't the same as assimilation. Have patience for the process. Honor your efforts. You're trying something. Practice in low stakes situations. Work with a coach. Work with someone who can give you feedback and give you personalized instruction to improve and support you while you develop the instincts you need, while you're building those new vocal habits. So here's the thing. There's not necessarily a right or wrong here. You're already a speaker, you're already a lawyer, you already communicate every day. But if you want to elevate that skill, if you want to be intentional about how you connect, engage, and equip a jury, then it takes more than just knowing what good communication looks like. It takes practice. It takes skill building. It takes giving yourself the space to grow. And if you're willing to lean into that process, you'll find yourself communicating in a way that doesn't just get heard, it gets results. Commit to fostering your voice. I'll see you next week. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.